Hey guys, Helion here, coming at you with this updated Nekroz deck profile. Sorry it took so long to get this out to you guys. I've been testing this deck for weeks and weeks just so I have a build that I'm confident, comfortable with. So let's get right into it. So 3 Brio, if you can play 3 of it, you're going to play 3 of it. I'm glad it's off. 2 Trish. You don't want to play 1. The second one comes up a lot. There's so many times like this card's really crucial in the Sky Striker matchup, which is already hard to win. So you're gonna need the extra Trish to help protect your cards when targeting. You can summon out your Trish and then Trish whenever they try and target it with negations. 2 Colossalus. Obviously this card's great, but you don't need 3. 2 Valk. I was like hard set on 3 Valk all the time, no matter what. But I just kept ending up sided out. Less for that. I need space for side deck cards, but more for it's just like it's bricky. It was getting really bricky. There's just too many times where I have high level rituals and ritual spells in my deck that are just clunky. So the third one really comes up too. But you do want to see it sometimes. Usually you can search it out anyway. So I think 2 is definitely the right way to go. 1 Unicorn is obvious, best card in the deck. 1 Decisive Armor. This is really it's mainly for Rogue most of the time. It's just because when they have no card, like it's mainly for main deck boss monsters, and also when they have no cards in hand. Because if you have no cards in hand, then you can't Trish them, and if you can't Trish them and they have a big dude, then you can't get over it. There's nothing you can do. You can't really make rank 4s. It's really hard to make rank 4s with this deck. It really comes up. And this guy is really just help beat over the things that when you can't Trish, and I really like it. Then 1 Saravis. This is really just a Trish except for all of your cards. It's mainly good because you can protect your Manjus and your Zaborgs with it. If you can add this turn 1 but beforehand you summon Zaborg, definitely do that because Veiler is the main card for main hand trap. That and Ogre, but not many people are playing Ogre right now, especially in the main deck. So it's mainly for the Veiler. So if you can get this beforehand, you summon Zaborg and protect it, then you definitely should, because if you summon Zaborg, you win. 1 Shell Slime. Obviously this card's really good, but you only need 1 of it, because it's obviously a virtual monster, you can search it out. And you're always discarding other cards, so you have it for the next turn. It's only if you're really desperate do you discard himself. That's it for ritual monsters. For the regular monsters with incantations, playing 2 of each. This is definitely the right ratio for the incantations. Obviously it sucks a lot to draw this guy, but you're not going to play less or more of him, because playing less means if you draw 1, your incantation engine kind of messed up. And if you don't see, you don't want to play, this is definitely the best ratio. You don't want to play 1 or 2 of them. Then the biggest glass cannon of the deck is a Zaborg. This guy, if you summon him, you're going to win, and if you don't, then it's really just when you see him without incantations. If you see him without any of these cards, even if you see the Chow Slime, you can summon Chow Slime, summon out a Pencil Plume or a Candle, and then summon out a Unicorn, and then Tribute for Zaborg. That you can still do that. But if you don't see any incantations with this card, it is an absolute brick. So I've been thinking I haven't tested yet going down to 2 with this guy. It just seems like it's not very good when you draw it mid and late game. I have summoned it mid game before, but I think 2 is definitely something to try out with this card. Then 3 Manju. This is a staple for nearly any ritual deck. The 1 Shrit. I'm really glad this guy's back. My favorite thing to do with this deck is just cycle back Valk using the Shrit, and then getting Trish off of the Shrit, and then using Mirror, banishing the Shrit from grave, and then summoning a Trish, OTK, and it's really glad it's back. Great card. Gonna use him nearly every game. And 3 Gamma and 1 Driver. This is really important for the deck. It took me way too long to start playing this. The main problem with this deck is just disruptions. There are so many disruptions, so many hand traps that are preventing you from playing. And even going first, Droll is just an absolute killer for this deck, and Ash can be too. And all those times, you're gonna discard your Brio, you're gonna activate Prep, and those cards are really tempting to Ash. And obviously, if you get your first search ever, they're gonna Droll. So if you have this card, it's not just help for you to disrupt on their turn; it's also on yours, because you have a lot of effects that you use before without putting monsters out. So you'll summon this guy out on your turn to make an Omega and negate their card. So it's just ridiculously strong. As for the monsters, for the spells, 2 cycle. This is definitely the best ritual spell. Nekroz ritual spell. 2 mirror and then 1 kaleido. I really needed to lower on the Nekroz spells. I was just playing 2/2 of each for a really long time, but they just kept getting too cloggy, so I had to lower on them. And it's just like, which one do I use the least? And it's actually funny because you use Kaleido every game, especially turn 1, to summon out the Unicorn and get the search off Herald. But it's really just like mainly mirror and cycle. Do you use later in the game? You know, you banish them from grave to add another one. So yeah, these guys are just, I really like just 2 mirror over 2 kaleido and 1 mirror. But if you ever do need to get another kaleido, you can always just summon Blickstone and add it back. I have done that plenty of times before. 1 Inception. This guy with Chow Slime is just amazing. That's just such good loot. 3 Prep, staple. And then 3 Call by the Grave. There's so much interruption, so many hand traps. You need these for the drolls, because if they droll you, they're probably going to win. That's it for the main deck. Extra deck, we have a 12. We got an 11. Omega. This is not just for the Gamma and Driver, but also to send off Zaborg. 3 Heralds. This is for Zaborg and the Kaleidoscope. And 3 Natis for Zaborg and Kaleidoscope. 2 Toad. This is for Zaborg. There's no way you can summon this guy. Just for Zaborg. And always make sure if you're doing turn 1, even turn 2 or whatever, always try and send your Brios and your Colossalus beforehand so you don't miss out on the plus of the Ds. Because sometimes I'll forget and then I'll just end up sending these guys themselves back. Then we have Utopia Lightning, Tornado Dragon, and God Cowboy. These guys, God Cowboys was like theoretically, for time, because the time rules are retarded. Tornado Dragons really just, if you ever go up against a deck that doesn't really need its extra deck very much, so you can use it with the Manju and Unicorn. It has come up, but very rarely. And then I've never made Utopia. It's just never come up. But there's really so much space. Like, the one thing I can see is with these 2 slots is trying to put in more Kaleido targets, like maybe a 6 for Brio. That has come up rarely. But yeah, really whatever you want to put in these spots, you can put in. So that's it for the extra. For the side, we have 3 Raw Sphere Mode. This card's absolutely insane if you draw. It's good versus a lot of decks right now. Then we have 3 Gemma Seal. Just generic removal. It's a great card. 3 Denko Sekka. This has been sided Nekroz for ages, and it's not going to stop now. These cards are great. And 3 Twin Twisters. Generic back row removal. And then 3 Evenly Match. The best going second card ever. You're going to need to be nutty if you can beat Sky Strikers, usually. And that's usually how I beat them, the rare occasions that I do. One of my favorite things to do with this deck is just evenly matching them and then trishing them, leave them with absolutely no cards. I've done that to many people before, and the best time doing it was versus Sky Striker. And it was my second turn. I top decked evenly for the turn, and then I went to battle phase, went straight to battle phase, activated evenly. They had advantage to 3 back row, they had advantage to area 0, and all he was left up with was a Shizuku and a well, obviously he had one card in hand. He had perfectly 1 card in hand. So I trished him right after. So I banished his Suzuku, I banished his Ray from Grave, and I banished 1 card in hand, so he had no cards left. And his next card was just Called by the Grave. He couldn't do anything, I just killed him next turn. So that's the deck, guys. Please excuse my dogs barking in the background. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave any questions or comments you may have in the comment sections below. It's been Helion. Peace.